And are we live?
No. Good morning, afternoon, and evening, everybody, and welcome to the first session of BNB Chain Game Jam. Today, I'm accompanied by Kiichi Yano from MetaX. Kiichi, nice having you.
Thanks for having me, Ahmed. Pleasure to be here.
And I'm your host, Ahmed Tahaymar from the gaming team at BNB Chain. Without further ado, Kiichi, I believe you have a mentorship session for us regarding game design. So let's kick it off.
Great. Yeah, thanks. Thanks again for having me. Hi, everybody. My name is Keiichi Ano, and I am the Chief Creative Officer at a company called MetaX Liona. We're a new company that just got set up in Dubai, and yeah, it's really exciting to be able to present a game design session to you guys all. I wanted to talk today a little bit about my experiences with designing mobile social action games, since one of the themes for the Game Jam are social games. So yeah, without further ado, I just want to get into the slides here. So just a little bit about me again. So I'm the Chief Creative Officer and Executive Producer at MetaX Liona. I've been in the game industry for over 25 years now. Man, it makes me feel really old. But yeah, so I've started my career making PlayStation 1 games, have done the console thing, went to mobile for now 12, 13 years. And yeah, we specialize as a studio on console games, mobile games, arcade games, PC games, pretty much runs the gamut. We are based in Tokyo with about 130 size staff in our studio. And yeah, that's kind of me in a nutshell. So a little bit about MetaX. So MetaX is the publishing, the Web3 publishing arm of our group. We are currently preparing multiple Web3 titles. I can't say exactly how many. One of them that is already public, Jewel Knights, you can see in the back here as well, is a game that we'll be releasing this year, hopefully soon. And yeah, we should have more information. We'll have links to the Twitter feed and whatnot following this presentation, as well as a couple other games. You see a little bit of a preview here. Can't talk too much about those, but yeah, hopefully we'll be able to talk about them in due course. And about Leona, again, yeah, we're Tokyo-based, 130 with, yeah, over 25 years of experience. I'm one of the founders of the company, started the company in 1997. And yeah, we are here in 2023. Seems like a long time, but yeah, I've been doing this for a while. So yeah, done lots of stuff. Okay, now to just get into the talk portion of it. So the composition of a mobile social action game. What do I mean when we say a mobile social action game? So when I think about that, I think about three things here. The first is action formatted for mobile. So this seems like an obvious one, but obviously, with a mobile device, you have limited capabilities to control things very, very precisely. Although, there's lots of games that are asking for that lately, but it's still not going to be as good as either a controller or a mouse keyboard. So yeah, you want to be able to format the action, obviously for mobile devices. The second one is social mechanisms that drive acquisition, retention, and monetization. I know as game developers, we hear these three KPIs a lot: acquisition, retention, and monetization. But obviously, you want to design in social mechanisms in the product to ensure that those things get driven, not only through obviously marketing and promotion, but primarily through the game. And then the third is event-driven attraction ecosystem. Now, today I want to talk about number one and number three, because number two is that's a whole nother hour topic in and of itself. So I want to kind of focus a little bit on one and three in the limited amount of time we have. Hopefully, maybe we can entertain questions later, or I can answer your questions through my Twitter as well. So I want to give some examples from a game that we've been running in Japan for about almost 3 years now, Evangelion Battlefields. This game is a game that's based on the very popular Evangelion IP in Japan. For those of you guys who are anime nerds, yeah, this is the giant purple robot. It's one of the top 10 best anime of pretty much any anime list you could be in. We are the only Evangelion licensed IP game right now on the market, and we currently enjoy 4.6 on the App Store. So yeah, if you're in Japan, please take a look. Yeah, I'm gonna skip this part. I'm gonna quickly show a video just about what kind of game is it, how it looks. Be about 2 minute video. Just take a look, and then we can talk about specifics after that. So yeah, all of the screen captures you hear are taken straight from the game, so there's no like pre-rendered cinematics or anything like that. All real time. All right. Yeah. So kind of gives you a feel for what the game is. But when we talk about action formatted for mobile, 3 points I can give just out of this example. First point. So the action drives PvP style competition. So one of the things you want to obviously do is you want to create an environment for social interaction. So that typically means some type of player versus player interactions, whether it be real time or non real time. In the event of Evangelion Battlefields, it's actually a real-time PvP that's happening. So all the battles that you're seeing uh, uh, between Evas, those are all happening in real-time PvP. And that actually, obviously spurs social interaction amongst players. There are ranking boards and things like that, and people will, we will hold events that drive that interaction as well. So all of that kind of connects together in a way that will drive again that social interaction. The second point is the action design itself is self-balancing. So what I mean by this is that a lot of times these games get designed, and the design of the system itself is not self-balancing. Game designers will typically try to balance the game through parameters only. Like we're tweaking these parameters, that parameters, et cetera, et cetera. But what we actually want to do is we want to try to create a system that just kind of self-balances itself, and the parameters are just like minor adjustments to that already self-balanced system. And that's a point that, we always try to do when we're designing these games, especially when you're doing a PvP or esports style game. And then the third point is that the action is light when it wants to be and interactive when it wants to be. Now, that may kind of sound at odds at first glance, but when you talk about like mobile devices, you want to make sure that people can play kind of casually because they might be playing on the go. They might not be playing in best conditions in terms of the environments they might be in. So you want to make sure that it's light when it wants to be, but at the same time, when it is an action game, you want players to feel like they're actually controlling the action. They're taking a meaningful part in the action. So in that sense, you want it to be also interactive at the same time. So we have this kind of auto system where it kind of plays mostly automatically, but you do some interactions here and there, but you can actually take all that off and fully manually control the action as well. And we actually reward players for players that play fully manually. It just gives you more control, and you'll have more control over your strategy and your technique in terms of how you're battling against your opponents. So this is just an example of what we would call like a self-balancing system, and this is taken directly from the game design of Evangelion Battlefields. This is a typical kind of chart that we would make internally at our studio to kind of figure out, well, what do we want to do? What do these attacks mean? What are the costs? One of the things that we're trying to do with things like this is try to determine what the ecosystem might feel like within the context of an in-game action sequence. So typically you're talking about, you have costs for like doing certain types of attacks, certain types of moves, et cetera, et cetera. Typically things that cost more will have more efficacy in the game, but obviously there might be a higher risk as well. So you're always trying to balance kind of high risk reward versus low risk reward, and players can basically select between a range of those types of options for their interactivity and figure out based on where they might be in the gameplay. They might have a lot of hit points, they might have very little hit points, so they might want to choose the cost of their actions based on any type of circumstances they might be in. So yeah, we try to create these charts and self-balance the system so it all works out. Here you can see that we've got these low to high cost attacks over here in the middle. And obviously the higher attacks are basically more powerful and they'll do different types of damage at different levels of the enemy. But at the same time, yeah, there is a risk that you face as a player by choosing those high cost moves. And here we're just trying to figure out, well, what would that cost be? Does it make sense? What is the reward and the damage caused by that should the player succeed or fail? So we're trying to balance all these things out, and ultimately from here, this is where we start thinking about, well, what do parameters of characters look like? How can we set them up in a way that, again, we can minimize the amount of tweaking in terms of like large sweeping parameter changes and try to keep it to the goal of just supporting the self-balanced system. So yeah, this is the kind of thing we'll do typically in our studio. And then the second thing to talk about is this event-driven attraction ecosystem. So this was the third point in the bullets that I had in the first slide. So what we mean by this is that, so typically in many free-to-play games, service games as a service, and especially in Japan, events play a very crucial part in having very strong retention monetization characteristics. Typically with a Japanese style social mobile game, you're looking at a kind of 4-week cadence, and within those 4 weeks, you figure out, well, how many events do you want to do? What are the time frames of those events? What kind of merchandise and new items, new equipment, new characters do we provide to the players that coincide with the event? With that. So yeah, here again, we're trying to create new things for the player to do. And within those new things, we want to obviously motivate them to do their best and perhaps even have them monetize during those events. So that's where the gacha mechanic comes in. We'll provide new types of characters, again, new accessories, etc., etc. And those events will take advantage of those new items, and that's where players will want to spin the gacha and try to get those items so they can have maximum effect over the event period. The event is on purpose limited to several days. Typically, it'd be anything between 2 and 8 or 9 days, and yeah, that just really kind of depends on how many items, new items that we'll be able to provide to the user. I've just given two examples of two other very popular games in Japan. Project Sekai Colorful Stage, and the other one is Ensemble Stars Music. Both of these games are kind of like idol style games, which are very popular in Japan. And both of these games kind of follow similar trends in terms of how events get held. You can see here with Project Sekai, it's 3 events over 4 weeks, and with Ensemble Stars, it's like 2 events with there's a little bit of a space in between events, but both within 4-week spans. So yeah, there's a lot of events that need to get run, lots of items that need to get built, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, the servicing part of it, how you design this from the beginning of how you design the product is very, very important and key to achieving high retention and high monetization. In the case of Evangelion Battlefields, you can see, I know it's all in Japanese, really super hard to read. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, this is our typical kind of calendar of events for a month. So you can see here, we've got it absolutely jam-packed with stuff. Where you see the kind of dates here and the colors, that's like kind of one event. So over the course of 1 month, we'll be doing anything from between 15 to 20 events in general. So we do lots of events. This includes everything from like small, super small login bonus events to like larger events where, again, as I stated earlier, there will be coinciding items and new characters and new accessories that go with those events. So yeah, this kind of planning and just how you design the product around it, and more importantly, actually building up a team that can actually support this, run this efficiently is also, we found, very, very important to ensure that players get their content on time and they're coming at a steady cadence. And obviously, you want to kind of enhance that with digital marketing, with collaborations, etc. So, with digital marketing, you're talking about your typical incentivized, non-incentivized, yeah, you're tracking attributions, things like that. And all of those KPIs, all that information kind of gets fed back into the loop, and then that's how we kind of plan our new events and whatnot. And obviously, with some of these new events, we'll do collaborations with other types of IPs, et cetera, other vendors, whatever it is. And all of these things, again, just kind of help to boost the overall outlook, the social outlook of the title. So yeah, these things we think are very, very important. So yeah, in closing, I know it was a really short presentation, but key takeaways, again, action formatted for mobile. You've got the action drives PvP style competition, which brings up your social, the social points. Point 2 is the action design is self-balancing, things with the core action design, how you kind of center it around events, et cetera, et cetera. Then point 3, the action is light when it wants to be, and interactive when it wants to be, especially with mobile. And then 3, event-driven attraction ecosystem, skipping 2 for future talk. So event-driven attraction ecosystem, regular events drive consistent retention, monetization, and you want to provide stability for users. Again, the stability, the consistency is really important. So I would say to anybody who's considering games as a service as an important part of the product, to ensure that you have the team and the just general planning and management to provide stability. And to that second point, yeah, building teams to the service is a challenge, and it requires a lot of experience. So yeah, if you've never done it, get in there, get your hands dirty, get that experience, and try to build up your team, and not just the developer team, but your marketing team, your entire team, to understand what it means to do a service game. And then you, third point, combine that with digital marketing and collaborations, really can provide some explosive drive. When we do like good marketing collaboration campaigns, yeah, we see like really large spikes and whatnot. So yeah, again, that's something that is should be in your arsenal as you're doing games as a service. And yeah, I can't stress this enough that you have a good team that can provide that. All right, so here's all my information, and yeah, I'll just keep that up. I'm on Twitter, LinkedIn. Yeah, always open to meeting new faces. And yeah, the MedX and the Leona links as well. And then our shameless plug again, yeah, we are going to be releasing our first game, Jewel Knights, from the MedX studio. It's coming very, very soon. We should have more information on our Twitter feed as it becomes available. Hope to see everyone there. And yeah, thanks for your time.
Thank you very much for that, Kichi. We really appreciate your experience on the subject. We actually have one comment from the viewers from Ili. Excuse me. How is the integration of Web3 technology being executed in the anime game? And he's asking you if you could give an economical approach, please.
Sure. So yeah, the Web3 integration, as you guys know, is something, you have to really kind of think about it from the beginning. It's not obviously just about your token allocation tables or your token economics and whatnot. One of the things that I think is a big drive and a big push just within the industry wide is the push for sustainability. A lot of these games, they just come out and then they're not very sustainable, and they're done in like 6 months to a year. So one of the things I think is really important from just not only a game design and a product design, but economic standpoint is that you integrate the tokenomics in a way that you're thinking about long-term stability. You want to be running these games for multiple years, growing your audience, growing the value of your NFTs and your tokens. In order to do that, the game itself has to be a robust business. It has to have, mechanisms to monetize well, and that value is what ends up becoming the value of your NFTs and the value of your tokens. So I can't, it's hard to get into details without showing more charts and stuff like that. But I would say, just as a general rule, again, thinking about long-term stability, think about the business. How are you making money? How is that translating into the value of your tokens and your NFTs?
I hope that did answer your question, Ili, and I believe that's all the questions we have for today. Thank you again very much, Kichi, for your presentation and for the time you have given us. And we hope that we'll see Jewel Knights very soon on BNB Chain as well. Thank you, everyone, for attending today. And this has been your host, Ahmed Tahimer from the BNB Chain Gaming team. Have a fantastic day and game on.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.